I am live. Well, good morning. Coming to you from San Diego, California. It is really cold here. We don't get this weather, but it's like 40. So I won't complain. Some of you live in snow and all that, but oops, I have another light. But I don't. And why is it so cold? So Crystal just got here and she's like, "What's with the cold?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Because it's warm. All righty. Well, welcome to Wednesday, the 15th of February. We are on day 18. So, hi, Kim. So, I think that's Kim. Day 18, feeling a little nutty. What if you're just breaking out of your shell? What if you're just breaking out of your shell? I know I repeat myself on this, but you're like, if you're in the tools and you guys are doing, the working access consciousness bars, that's what it's made for. Well, it was created before all the clearings and stuff were made. I mean, that was the body work. But what bars does, so again, if you're not local to me, I can come out and teach a class so that you have somebody to trade with, or what else is possible? So that you can run your bars to create space that you didn't even know was possible. It really does change your life. I ran two people's bars yesterday, and they just get up and they're just like, wow, like I've never felt this much. And no one knows how to put it in words, but it's space and calmness and all the clearing and awareness. So what else is possible there? Okay, so when you're nutty, that kind of helps the head. Alrighty, so that's what today's clearing. That's what the question is today. And I'm going to do this clearing. I just went to Introduction to Foundations. Tomorrow so I'm just calling in everybody in case Access Consciousness Bars class tomorrow and talk to the entities intro. And then we start 4 days of foundation. So I know that before I took my foundation, like how do I say this? If you work with me and that's kind of all that you do, you're missing a billion times what is available in access, teachings, and awareness. So I appreciate that for me to be able to give you what it is that I have, but what else is possible for you that you may choose now or choose later, in person, online. But foundation is after a bars class is the next step. And also with bars, it's not, for me, it's not about if you don't ever have to do bars on anybody. It's the energy that you clear and become, and the clearings and everything we do in that. But Introduction to Access Foundation, next step. And I think it'll be fun to do a little clearing on that. And if you're like, what is that? And again, when I took my first one, I had no idea. And then I took my second, and then I took my third, and this will be my fourth. And every time it's like, wow. So the purpose of this class is to change the foundation off of which you are currently living. So that's like feeling a little nutty. What if you're just breaking out of your shell? And the clearings we've been doing is breaking you out of the energetic shell. Okay. So the foundation off which you are currently living. So what are we going to do this weekend? We're going to shatter your reality. I can't teach this class because I am not a certified facilitator. Otherwise, I would. So you may want to take a moment, just be silent with you and your reality right now and go bye-bye. So, as your facilitator in here, I will change, which means I will show up as a different energy. And then you'll be able to perceive, know, be, and receive that energy as well. That's the coolness of that. So I have a note on this book. April 17th, 2020 was when I took my first class with Crystal, and COVID just they did full lockdown, and I did it on live with her. But at 4/17, that was my first one. So right now, just right now, bye bye, bye bye. The reality in which you are living and choosing, and what else is possible that you haven't even considered. So, because this will change you, your reality with your body, and all these kinds of things, be willing to realize that it's your choice whether you let go of this stuff. Okay. What we're trying to do is de-solidify the foundation of your reality so you can create something else, which is also what we do in the Phenomenal Woman. Okay. Every day is breaking down the solidity by having the conversations and doing the clearings. So you can actually have a sense of space. So write a comment if you're listening to this. Are you sensing the new space? Or have you, with doing these tools and acknowledging, like, and I know sometimes you can't even put it in words, like backtrack 3 months, 6 months, a year, and go, wow, wow. Um, so, these days when you wake up and it seems like everything is easy, everything is flowing, everything works, and you're like, oh God, this is awesome, until you lose it in about 3 hours. You know what? Well, what if you didn't have to lose it anymore? Oh my gosh, that's how I'm living today. And I'm sure you guys are doing that as well. So, and if you're not, what else is possible? More and more of that, please. And if you are, compared to what it could have been, um, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, the gal I was working with yesterday, I started doing this new thing where I do a half an hour facilitation, and then they get their bars run for an hour. Um, and I think I charge 197 for that. But it's been pretty cool because they're getting that clearing, and then I can get them on the table. I was doing a lot of get them on the table and doing facilitation, which is fine. But if we want to do deeper, and it was cool because everything in her life, she was so used to creating problems to figure out what she could change and choose. So we just kept destroying and creating everywhere that you have always created a problem so that you could solidify it, make it real, understand it, and then fix it, and then wear your Wonder Woman cape, because that's kind of where I lived. Create a problem, create a problem, create a problem, understand it, blah, 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 pull it apart, and then conquer it. And what if it didn't have to be that anymore? So, anyway, so ease. So we just kept saying ease, ease. Everything is flowing, everything works. This is going to be awesome until all of a sudden you lose it. Okay. If you didn't lose it, how else would you pretend that you're part of your family and pretend that you're like everybody else when you're not? Okay. That just answered it. So everywhere you're matching people, or you have been matching people, or in this reality that you have to have a problem in order to be part of it. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it? That's so good. Right and wrong, good and bad, pop, pock, all bad shorts. Oh, boys to beyond. And again, I'm going to share my, and it was like about 6 years ago, I was sitting in an AA meeting, and I'll never forget it when I was like, I'm tired of matching this energy that I had created there, that I had to have a problem, solve it, and come back. And I never will forget it, because it was like, I don't want to be that anymore. What would it be like to not have a problem and still function? Like, I didn't know that. So everywhere that brings up something, and everywhere that, like, that's how, and what it was for me, steps down the road, is if I don't have a problem, do I even exist on this planet? I actually went through that. I remember talking to Max, and you guys may have heard me say that. I'm like, as I started to eliminate things and he became part of my life with access, I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? And he didn't understand what I was saying, but I'm like, I don't have any problems to solve, whatever. And I just left Mary Kay. So what's my purpose there? And it was a journey of like, just as an infinite being, I had total right for my body to occupy the world, this planet. And I really didn't get that. Okay. So anything and everything that brings up for you, barriers down, you can go ahead and destroy and uncreate that if that kind of brings up something for you. So if you didn't lose you, no, if you didn't lose like having to go back to the energy of a solving problem anymore, how else would you pretend that you're part of your family and pretend you're like everybody else when you're not? I mean, let's face it, you're the weirdest person you've ever known. Okay. Ah! So I know Dara came on yesterday and said, hello, weirdo. And at one time, I wouldn't have known what to do with that, but we processed that here or in the expander accelerator class. I can't remember, but that's like an endearing, maybe with her, an endearing word that her husband gave to her. And she was like, okay with it. And I did everything everywhere that you're defending and avoiding the weirdness of you, would you destroy and uncreate that? Ugh, I just got really hot. Right and wrong, good and bad, pop, pock, all nine shorts, boys, puppet, and beyond. And everywhere that you have a point of view and decided that you're a weirdo because your family may have declared that for you. And that's your job in the family, to be the one that doesn't fit like everybody else. So you've decided and bought into that there's something wrong with you, or you are the weirdo, but everywhere you're defending and avoiding the weirdness you truly be. And I know for some people that is not a problem, but for me, I was defending and avoiding that constantly. So everywhere you're defending and avoiding who you be and who you should be, and not asking, if I had it all my own way and I actually showed up as who I be, what would that be? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyond. And if you're not, this is where we go into family dynamics, and that does involve like more one-on-one connect coaching, because you got to destroy and uncreate all of that framework, all of those commitments and oaths and everything. When you came into the family, this was your job and how you were supposed to be. And all of a sudden you're like, no. Okay, so here's a process. Now that I talked about that, but hopefully it was a contribution. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as the pretense that you're not the greatness that you've always known you should be, but you never seem to be able to achieve? Sorry, my mouth. Everything that is destroying and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop. All by shorts, boys, povads, and beyond. Jails, judgments, agendas, inventions, and lies that you've bought into, points of view that have been, that you've sucked in since you were a little girl. And E equals MC squared is like being the mediocrity, being the evil toward yourself. Okay, so what jails are you using to create the dominance of mediocrity and evil upon yourself, and not acknowledging you for the gift that you are, as the pretense that you're not the greatness that you've always known you should be, but never seem to be able to achieve? And everything that is times a godzillion, would you destroy it or create it? Times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyond. There's a billion other clearings with this from foundations, but what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared? And E equals MC squared stands for unconsciousness, and anti-consciousness. So, what are you using and choosing to choose unconsciousness about yourself? Mediocrity is when you try to be normal, when you try to be like other people, when you think that somehow you can do what other people do the other way people do it. And corruption, where you think that everything must always diminish and become less. Wow. So, what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared is a pretense that you are not the greatness that you've always known that you should be, but never seem to be able to achieve it. And everything that is, and everything that brings up, and all those CQ implants holding that in place. Would you now please blow that up, blow that up, blow that up, pock and pod, pock and pod, pock and pod. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. What jails are you using that you didn't even know you were using? But what jails are you using to create the dominance of mediocrity, trying to fit in, anti-consciousness, unconsciousness, as the pretense for how you show up in the world, that you're not the greatness that you've always known? Remember, I've talked about that inside part of you that you know and you're hiding, that you should be, but you never seem to be able to achieve it. Everything that is times a godzillion. Please try to create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. I might post this in the tools. It's powerful. So if anybody is watching this, the yawning, I apologize, is a release of unconsciousness and of energy. Sometimes you process that way. So this is a power clearing. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as the pretense for showing up in the world that you are not the greatness that you've always known you should be, but never seem to be able to achieve it? To achieve. And everything that is times a gazillion, would you pock and pot it? Point of creation, point of destruction, point of creation, point of destruction, point of creation, point of destruction, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. All righty, that was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that and received something from that. Okay. Peace out. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I will still be doing my lives. Okay, bye.